because we've seen this movie before in Ben Simmons. Yeah. And speaking of Ben Simmons, Mark, you sat down with him for a fantastic piece. That piece is up on Anscape.com right now, where he talks about Brooklyn. He talks about this revenge tour he wants to make, essentially. What stood out to you from that conversation?
This confidence and swag that he had certainly is much different than we've seen from him in the last 2 years. He told me this is the healthiest he's been, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of Nets fans and NBA fans are saying that they heard this before. But one thing he mentioned when we went to get a bite in Miami was, hey, I drove here and my back didn't hurt. A year ago, people had to drive me. I couldn't even sit still. And so he's like, he's out of a lot of pain. He's talking about being an all-star again. He said in some workouts in Miami, he put the ball through his legs and dunked. And so there was this swag that I saw in Ben, like when he got out of LSU. This was vintage Ben, and he feels like if he's healthy, and he expects to be healthy, that he will play in the first game of the season, and that all-star caliber player, he expects that player to be back.
Right, and the question is, can he be that all-defensive player candidate that he has been in the past? Ramona, what expectations do you have for Ben out the gate this year?
You know, I mean, when he talks about his back injury, it resonates with me because I had the same back injury, and I know, like, there was 5-6 months where people were driving me around, too, because you cannot sit when you have that nerve injury in your lower back. Like, you have to lean your car seat back. And I think with Ben, seeing is believing. Talk at this point, it doesn't mean anything. I'm glad to hear him say all those things to you, Mark, but people need to see it on the court. And I think give him a little grace because of what he's dealt with physically. I think sometimes people aren't good at talking about exactly what they've dealt with physically and mentally, and he's starting to be able to talk about that in a real way. And I thought that was great that you got him to open up that way because, you know, it's hard to talk about not just physical stuff, but mental health issues. And he has been able to do that more so than he ever did when things were unraveling in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he did that in an incredibly vulnerable way with you, Marc Spears. We appreciate that window into how he is thinking about this upcoming season. And Nets fans certainly, with Ben Simmons talking the way he is and every intention of backing it up, seeing what Mikal Bridges is doing on the world stage, there's some reason to be optimistic in Brooklyn, even though the big three did not work out. Damian Lillard, still a trailblazer, but Mark, we just watched your interview with Dame, and he was very professional. He's what we've come to know from Damian Lillard when it came to the topic of his trade demand. He said respectfully he did not want to speak about the Portland Trailblazers. But the fact of the matter is the season is fast approaching. So, Mark, how patient will Damian Lillard be here?
Well, I don't expect him to burn things down, do a James Harden or nothing like that. I expect him to continue to be professional, but certainly I know the frustration's got to be boiling over. He has a good group of guys that are like Mo Williams and Earl Watson, Darrell Wright, former teammates who are trying to tell him to just stay patient. But right now there's no new news on the trade. It's still moving slow with about a month to go before training camp in Miami and Portland, and it's kind of a hurry up and wait situation.
I was a rookie in my reporting career in Portland. And what I've come to know from Damian Lillard is that he wants to play. He wants to be out there, and he has taken pride in wearing the letter O for Portland. What do you expect here, Ramona? Can you see a world in which there is a standoff, James Harden-esque, the way that Marc Spears just termed it?
I don't think it would be the same way that it's gone with Harden in the past. Like, you know, we saw what happened in Houston with the we don't need to relive all that. But this is not good for the league. This is not good for Portland or Damian Lillard or anybody involved in this, because he has been one of the best ambassadors in this league for over a decade. He is a great story, a great humanitarian, a great person in this league.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see this go in an ugly fashion. And I think there'll be some momentum. League people are coming back from vacations. They're starting to work out again. There will be more conversations. So I think you could see some renewed discussions as we approach the beginning of this year.
Not to mention, it's easy to forget that before he was shut down, he was playing some of the best basketball of his entire career. We want to see Damian Lillard out on the floor shooting from unbelievable range and doing his goodbye.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.